Well, hello YouTube, this is Warships Legends memes, and today we are starting with something completely new for this channel. I'm going to make a tutorial video, or actually a complete serie about how to play the game. It's not about memes.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
It's really about what to do, what not to do, things like that. Of course, you have the first like 5 to 10 games in which they teach you what to do, but it isn't enough. So from that starting point, we are starting this tutorial, and we will build in the next couple of videos to the more difficult stuff, like agile kiting cruisers or how to play destroyer against radar cruisers, that kind of thing. But we're starting at the basic, and if you're someone that it's not really new, then this video is not for you, but it's really for the players that have really just started. So that's the first tutorial, and hope you enjoy this series. So I would say grab a cup of coffee and let's start into the game. So I will just start this video just about the menu and what options there are and what there is to see and what not to see. So for example, here on the left you can start a game. Obviously it says play, and next to that is ship. A question a lot of people ask is with which country do you have to start? Well, the real answer to that is there isn't a good or a bad country. Every country has its own benefits and backdraws. The most important thing is that throughout the game you will notice that some ships are good in something and they are not good in something else, and you have to adapt to that kind of play style. I will make a lot of videos, like I said in the beginning, a complete series, and the abilities and disabilities of some ship lines, so to say, I will cover in another video. And you've also got a tier system. So every country, for example, has a tier 1 ship. You can see it on the left. Here's the Shikuma. Here it is the Weymouth. Don't bother my pronunciation because I'm not from the UK or from the States, so it's a little bit different than what you might be used to. And after you get enough XP, you can level it to your level 2 ship, which is also a cruiser. So after the cruiser, you have the option to go to a destroyer or to a battleship. So you've got 4 types of ships. You've got a cruiser, a destroyer, a battleship, and you've got the carrier. They are really different from another. So for example, you've got your destroyer, and they normally have good torpedoes and weaker guns. Then you have the cruiser, which is more like an all-around ship. You've got quite good guns, quite good torpedoes. Your health is okay. It's a little bit of everything. Then you're getting to the battleships, which are just the big ships, the big guns. It's really sometimes even difficult to maneuver. And then you've got the aircraft carrier, which of course carries the aircraft. Quite obvious. They are used for spotting the enemy and doing aerial attacks, but they are really weak in defending themselves. So that's the ship types you can choose from, but I will make a separate video on that, and I will go into depth for each ship, what to do and what not to do. When you're going to play the game, you will have to choose a commander for your ship. So what does a commander do? A commander is like a set of skills or perks, or how to call them, and your ship will get a little boost in some points. So you've got these commanders, and in the top right of every commander you can see like a destroyer sign, like this one has, and this one down here has got the cruiser sign, and you've got the aircraft sign and the battleship sign. So it's just like A specific commander has benefits for a specific type of ship. For example, you've got Camouflage, and he's really good for cruisers. Every commander has his base trait, which is like a boost you get when you are leveling your commander. It will start at level 1, or rank 1 in this case, and you can rank it up to rank 16. So your base trait will go up when you are leveling your commander, and when you're leveling up you will unlock different skills. The red ones are more for aggressive gameplay, like more damage output, and the green, bluish, I don't know, is it blue or is it green? I think it's greenish, but they are better in survivability. So, for example, here you can see other torpedoes in a much earlier state, so that makes sure you keep you keep yourself alive. But about these commander setups, I will definitely make another video. But in the beginning, you will just have, I think, the commander without an like it's not specialized in something, which will be Van Essen, for example. Well, back to Kuznetsov. When you're leveling your commanders, I think from rank 7 and rank 11, you also get inspirations. Now, inspirations are here on the left, and they are actually the base trait of other commanders. So if you leveled another commander and you think, hey, that's useful for this ship as well, then you can put it as an inspiration and it will get a little buff. And then you get a legendary skill. You've got legend level 1 up to 4. Yeah, you can level it throughout the game, but you will start without this legendary skill. So that's about the commanders. After that, you've got the campaign and missions. You can compare it to like a battle pass in Call of Duty, something like that. I would really recommend this one if you are playing like a couple of weeks and you're starting to get to know the game. I would definitely buy the campaign in this game, because that's the best you can get for your money. More to the right, you've also got Bureau. I won't bother you with Bureau at this moment, but we will get back to that. It's not important for your first couple of games. And then you've got the store. I would just keep a good distance from this one at the start. Maybe you can get back to it in a later stage, but at the start you don't want to spend money right away. You just have to learn the game, in my opinion. So we'll go to play now, and here you can see you've got two options at the moment, and that you can play against AI, and you've got standard, which is player versus player. Then we go up to here. You've got upgrades, and upgrades is something you can put on every ship to make it better. So in tier 4 you've got one standard upgrade. You can choose between different mods, and I would recommend in almost every ship, I say almost, but you can't really go wrong with this one. You take aiming systems mod 1, and you can see on the left you've got a better dispersion, so it's easier for your guns to hit your targets. So I would always just go for aiming systems mod 1. After the upgrades, you've got the ammunition and consumable. This is quite an important part. You've got high explosive and you've got armor piercing shells. Because in the game you can make a choice between either one of them. For high explosive, you've got a shell that explodes on impact, or almost on impact. And it will do a little bit of damage every time it hits a target. You've got a chance to put a ship on fire, which will do damage over time. This one is a shell type you can use against a lot of ships. For example, destroyers. It's really good against destroyers. So, for example, if you are shooting at a destroyer, you can almost always use high explosive. Well, armor piercing is a kind of shell that arms after it penetrates the target. So, if you've got a target that's not really armored or medium armored, like a cruiser, you can use armor piercing shells. In case you're shooting in the broadside of a ship with armor piercing, you have a chance of hitting the citadel, which will do a lot of damage. However, if the target is bow into you or has really a lot of armor, you could make the decision to go for high explosive. But also if a ship has really low sets of armor, you could also make a choice to go with high explosive, because the armor piercing shells will go right through the enemy and they won't detonate. The armor piercing is like a lot of damage in the right situations, and high explosive will, let's say, always do a little bit of damage. Of course, there's much more into it. I can make a whole video of these choices, but this is what you need to know if you start the game. And then you've got the torpedo armament. A torpedo are slow, and you've got an indicator which says where to shoot them, and you have to get used to it. So destroyer always have good torpedoes, at least almost always, and cruiser has both good guns and good torpedoes, and then you get the battleships, which have actually the best guns in the game, but they don't almost never have torpedoes to their in the armament. Then you've got the consumables, damage control party, and sonar. Well, the damage control party, you can stop fires with it, stop floodings, and but keep in mind, if you stop a fire, you won't be able to stop another fire in like a minute. You can be set on fire like 4 times at the same moment. So when you're on fire once and you use the damage control party, then after the consumable is used, you can be set on fire another time, and even 2, 3, or 4 times. And you won't be able to put it out for like 60 seconds in this case. So be careful with your damage control party, but the main rule of thumb is if you're getting a flood, if you're getting when you're hit by a torpedo and you get flooding, you should always use your damage control party, because that will do the most damage to you. Sonar is a consumable that starts at, I think, tier 3 for some of the ships, and it's mainly something that the cruisers have. It's used in the game to see ships that are hiding in smoke. You can see torpedoes for a greater distance, and it's really something with which you can counter other destroyers, because destroyers will a lot of times hide in smoke, and with a sonar you can catch them off guard, so to say. Well, you can put a flag on your ship, yet it hasn't got any impact on the game. And then you've got a camouflage with, if you use a kind of camouflage, it will disappear after the game, unless you make it permanent. Actually, this is quite a bad choice for me, because I only got it level 1, and you've got also level 1 up to level 4. But to start with, you can always just use any camouflage you like, and it will get you little buffs like sea detection, range, or incoming fire dispersion. I would recommend you always just use a camouflage, because you will get enough of them. So you don't have to not use them to use in a later stadium. You could just use them whenever you want, because they will be resupplied. So I think this will be the first video. It's been a lot of talking just about the menu. I think some of people will think this is quite a boring tutorial, but this is just about how to start the game and just see the menus. The level will go up in the next couple of videos, so we are still going really basic and going up to really more difficult and high-tiered kind of tutorials.